Akan, ɛ଼kәn, is a Central Tano language that is the principal native language of the Akan people of Ghana, spoken over much of the southern half of the country, by about 58% of the population, and among 30% of the population of Ivory Coast. 3 dialects have been developed as literary standards with distinct orthographies: Asante, Akuapem, and Fante, which, despite being mutually intelligible, were inaccessible in written form to speakers of the other standards. In 1978, the Akan Orthography Committee established a common orthography for all of Akan, which is used as the medium of instruction in primary school by speakers of several other Central Tano languages such as Anyi, Sehwi, Ahanta, and the Guang languages. The Akan Orthography Committee has compiled a unified orthography of 20,000 words, notable as well are the Adinkra symbols, which are old ideograms. The language came to the Caribbean and South America, notably in Suriname spoken by the Nuka and in Jamaica by the Jamaican Maroons known as Coromantee, with enslaved people from the region. The descendants of escaped slaves in the interior of Suriname and the Maroons in Jamaica still use a form of this language, including Akan names. Children are named after the day of the week on which they are born, e.g. Akwazi, Kwazi or Akosu are born on a Sunday. In Jamaica and Suriname, the Anansi spider stories are well known. Relationship to other Central Tano languages. In Ethnologue and ISO 693-3, Akan is a macro-language that includes TWI and Fante. Akan is also the name of a language group that includes said macro-language and also a Bron and Wassa. The language group of Akan is ordered under Central Tano, which also includes 8 more languages. This means that while they are all related, Bron and Wassa are not seen as dialects of Akan per se, but rather as sister languages. Ethnologue bases its classification on studies of mutual intelligibility and lexical similarity from a multitude of sources. However, Ethnologue does not always cite all sources and the classification is not final. Glottologue makes basically the same analysis, with the exception that the language group of Akan, which includes Wassa and Bron, is labeled əькән, and Akan is analyzed as one language with Fante, Asante, Akuapem and many other dialects. According to work done by P.K. Agbedor of Kazis, Mafons, TW1, Bron, Sefwi, Wassa, Asen, Akwamu, and Kwa, who belong to Cluster 1 of the speech forms of Ghana. Clusters are defined by the level of mutual intelligibility. Cluster the first of may better be named Akan, which do not explicitly have the letter L in their original proper use. On the other hand, Akan refers to the Akan cluster comprising Nzma, Bale, and Yin and other dialects spoken mainly in the Ivory Coast, whose use of the letter R in proper usage is very rare. Phonology. Because the Akan dialect's phonologies differ slightly, Asante dialect will be used to represent Akan. Asante, like all Akan dialects, involves extensive palatalization, vowel harmony, and tone terracing. Consonants before front vowels. All Asante consonants are palatalized, and the stops are to some extent affricated. The allophones of N are quite complex. In the table below, palatalized allophones which involve more than minor phonetic palatalization are specified in the context of the vowel I. These sounds do occur before other vowels, such as A, though in most cases not commonly. In Asante, U followed by a vowel is pronounced, but in Akuapem it remains U. The sequence NH is pronounced. The transcriptions in the table below are in the order phonemic, orthographic. Note that orthographic DW is ambiguous. In textbooks, DW equals may be distinguished from DW with a diacritic DW. Likewise, vela NW may be transcribed NW. Orthographic news palatalized vowels. The Akan dialects have 14 to 15 vowels, 4 to 5 tense vowels, 5 lax vowels, which are adequately but not completely represented by the 7-vowel orthography, and 5 nasal vowels, which are not represented at all. All 14 were distinguished in the Gold Coast alphabet of the colonial era. An Atr distinction in orthographic A is only found in some subdialects of Fante, but not in the literary form. In Asante and Akuapem there are harmonic allophones of A, but neither is Atr. The two vowels written E and O are often not distinguished in pronunciation. Atr Harmony. TWI vowels engage in a form of vowel harmony with the root of the tongue. Atr vowels followed by the plus Atr non-mid vowels IU become plus Atr. This is generally reflected in the orthography, that is, orthographic EAO become IAOU. However, it is no longer reflected in the case of subject and possessive pronouns, giving them a consistent spelling. This rule takes precedence over the next one. After the Atr non-high vowels EAO plus Atr mid vowels EO become Atr high vowels IU. This is not reflected in the orthography, for both sets of vowels are spelled EO, and in many dialects this rule does not apply, for these vowels have merged. Tones. TWI has 3 phonemic tones: high, mid, and low. Initial syllable may only be high or low. Tone terracing. The phonetic pitch of the 3 tones depends on their environment, often being lowered after other tones, producing a steady decline known as tone terracing. H tones have the same pitch as a preceding H or M tone within the same tonic phrase, whereas M tones have a lower pitch. That is, the sequences HH and MH have a level pitch, whereas the sequences HM and MM have a falling pitch. H is lowered after a L. L is the default tone, which emerges in situations such as reduplicated prefixes. It is always at bottom of the speaker's pitch range, except in the sequence HLH, in which case it is raised in pitch but the final H is still lowered. Thus, HMH and HLH are pronounced with distinct but very similar pitches. After the first prominent syllable of a clause, usually the first high tone, there is a downstep. This syllable is usually stressed. Important words and phrases: Akuapem, Akaba, welcome. Ane, yes. Yiw, yes. Okay, all right. Darby, no, nope. Rye, good night. Me rek da, I'm going to sleep. Ts epsilon n, woho tsn. How is it going, how are you? Me da wo ase, thank you. Me pa wo Kentucky w, please excuse me, I beg your pardon. DWOMNNWOM, song, songs are music. Wodinda s epsilon n. What is your name? Me Dinda, YFR me. My name is I'm cool. Wadi mfeah per second n. How old is he, she? Wadi mfeah per second n. How old are you? W hen. Where is it? Me rek I'm going. Bibliography. Kasahorov editors. Modern Akan, a concise introduction to the Akuapem, Fante and TWI language. Kasahorov, Accra, ISBN 9988037678. Dolphine, Florence Sabina, The Akan Language, Its Sound Systems and Tonal Structure. Ghana Universities Press, Accra. ISBN 9964-30159-6. F.A. Dolphine, a comprehensive course in TWI for the non-TWI learner. Ghana University Press, Accra. ISBN 9964-30245-2. William Nkisha TWI für Ghana, Word für Word. Riesno Hau Verlag, Bielefeld. ISBN 3-89416-3461. Obeng, Samuel Ghazi. African Anthroponymy, an ethno-pragmatic and morpho-phonological study of personal names in Akan and some African societies. LINCOM Studies in Anthropology 08. München, LINCOM Europa. ISBN 3-89586-431-5. J. Redin and N.O. Wusu. TWI Basic Course. Foreign Service Institute.